The house at the end of the street. Ash Lane was the kind of street people forgot existed. Tucked between overgrown hedges and a tangle of country roads, it bore no signs, no traffic, and rarely any visitors. Yet at its very end stood a house, grey, brooding, and utterly alone. Most of the locals in the nearby town of Darnell avoided it, referring to it only as the Ash House. That was where Amelia came in. Fresh out of university and eager to prove herself as a freelance journalist, Amelia had stumbled upon the story of the Ash House while researching unsolved disappearances. According to an obscure blog, 3 people had vanished in the area over the last decade, all last seen somewhere near the house. It was the kind of story editors usually laughed off, but Amelia felt something deeper pull her toward it. Curiosity, yes, but also a strange sense of responsibility. She arrived one chilly afternoon in October, her recorder tucked into her coat pocket, a satchel filled with notebooks, batteries, and a camera slung over her shoulder. The road was lined with skeletal trees whose branches clawed at the sky like bony fingers, leaves scattered around her boots, crunching underfoot. The sun was beginning its slow descent, dyeing the sky a rusty orange. The ash house loomed before her. Its paint had long peeled away, revealing the weather-beaten wood beneath. The porch sagged in the middle, the front windows were clouded, and ivy crept up the sides like a suffocating hand. Amelia paused at the rusted gate and took a deep breath. She stepped forward. An unexpected welcome. To her surprise, the front door wasn't locked. It creaked open with a slow, reluctant groan. Amelia stepped inside, greeted by stale air tinged with something faintly floral. Lavender, maybe, or something pretending to be. Dust coated every surface, and cobwebs hung like banners from the ceiling. She flicked on her flashlight and walked slowly through the foyer, clicking her recorder on. This is Amelia Hart, investigative journalist. I've entered the Ash House on Ash Lane. The interior appears abandoned, but signs of recent activity are unclear. She moved room to room, living room, dining room, study, all preserved in a kind of frozen decay. Old furniture, moth-eaten curtains, a layer of silence, thick enough to suffocate sound. In the upstairs hallway, she found something strange. On the wall hung a large oval mirror, its frame intricately carved with symbols she didn't recognize. It was spotless, the only clean object in the entire house. She stared at her reflection. Her dark hair was windblown, her brown eyes alert. But something felt off. As she turned to leave, the light caught the mirror again. Her reflection didn't move. Amelia froze. She turned back quickly, but the image matched her perfectly now, her own breath fogging the glass. "Okay," she whispered, backing away. "Just tired, imagination running wild." Still, her pulse thudded a little faster as she returned downstairs. She decided to set up her sleeping bag in the parlor, close to the front door, just in case. Whispers in the dark. That night, sleep came in fits. The wind outside howled through the cracks, and once or twice, Amelia could swear she heard footsteps upstairs. Each time she checked, the house was still. At around 2 a.m., she awoke suddenly to the sound of a whisper. She sat up quickly, heart pounding. The whisper came again, faint, indistinct, like breath over glass. She fumbled for her flashlight and scanned the room. Nothing. Then she looked up. In the doorway stood a woman. pale, dressed in a faded white nightgown. Her eyes were dark hollows, and her hair fell limp around her shoulders. Before Amelia could move, the woman whispered again. One word. Leave. The flashlight flickered, and the woman vanished. Amelia sat frozen, every muscle locked. Her rational mind told her she must have been dreaming, but her instincts screamed otherwise. She gathered her things, sat fully clothed in the parlor chair, and waited for dawn. The journal. The next morning, sunlight poured through the dusty windows, doing little to dispel the chill in the air. Amelia made coffee from her thermos and debated leaving, but something in her gut refused to let her go. Instead, she returned to the study and began sifting through drawers, old bills, letters, and finally, tucked behind a stack of yellowed papers, she found a journal. Its cover was leather, cracked with age. Inside were entries dating back to 1934. The journal belonged to a woman named Margaret Hale. May 3rd, 1934. James has changed. Since we moved into this house, he barely speaks. He stares into the mirror in the hallway for hours. Sometimes I catch him whispering to it. I fear something is terribly wrong. June 14th, 1934. I tried to move the mirror today. It would not budge. James says it's part of the house. It watches, he told me. It knows. I don't sleep much anymore. July 9th, 1934. James disappeared. I awoke and he was gone. His shoes still by the bed. No sign of struggle. I swear I saw him in the mirror last night, smiling. Amelia's hands trembled as she turned the pages. The entry stopped abruptly on July 15th, 1934. The rest of the journal was blank. The watcher. She returned to the mirror upstairs, recorder in hand. Margaret Hale's journal references this mirror, she said aloud. Claims her husband vanished after staring into it. Multiple disappearances reported in this house, all connected. She stared into the glass. Her reflection stared back, expression neutral, flashlight in hand. I'm not afraid of you, she said. The room grew colder. Her breath fogged the air. Suddenly, the reflection in the mirror shifted. It was still her, but she wasn't holding the flashlight. Her eyes were black, and a faint smile curled her lips. Amelia stepped back. The mirror surface rippled like water. Then a voice echoed, low and male, from the mirror itself. Stay, Amelia. She dropped the recorder. A hand, thin, grey, and skeletal, pressed against the inside of the glass. With a cry, she stumbled down the stairs and bolted out of the house, not stopping until she reached her car. She drove straight to the Darnell Historical Society. The truth beneath the surface. The receptionist, a kindly older woman named Clara, listened to Amelia's story with wide eyes. You said Margaret Hale? She asked, disappearing into the archives. She returned a few minutes later with an old newspaper clipping. Woman vanishes from Ash Lane home, July 1934. It included a photo of the house and of Margaret. Same pale face, same nightgown. She vanished 2 weeks after her husband did, Clara said. House has been empty since, though it's still owned by a distant relative. Anyone else gone missing near there? Amelia asked. Clara nodded slowly. 3 hikers, a real estate agent, all in the last 20 years. The house is strange. Some say it's cursed. Others say it's watching. Amelia showed Clara the journal. and played back her recording. Except the voice at the end didn't play, just silence and static. "Do yourself a favor," Clara said quietly. "Don't go back." The return. But Amelia did go back. She had to. That night, armed with a sledgehammer and a growing sense of dread, she returned to the ash house. The sky was dark, the moon thin and brittle. She climbed the stairs, flashlight quivering in her hand. The mirror stood as before, waiting. She lifted the hammer and brought it down. The mirror didn't crack. She hit it again. Nothing. Then the mirror shimmered, and her reflection stepped forward. It reached out, touching the glass from the inside. "Amelia," it whispered, voice her own. "Don't fight. Join us." Hands, many hands, pressed against the glass from within. Faces swam just beneath the surface. Margaret, James, others. Amelia screamed and swung again. This time, the mirror fractured. With a sound like a scream and a thunderclap, the glass exploded outward, shards flying. The room filled with wind, with cries, with light, and then silence. She blinked, coughing. The mirror was gone. So was the cold. So was the house. Amelia stood alone in an empty field, the remnants of foundation stone at her feet. No walls, no roof, no trace of the ash house. Echoes. Weeks later, back in her apartment, Amelia typed up the story. No one believed her, not completely, but the journal entries, the recordings, the photos of the now vanished house gave enough weight for publication. The article went viral. She was offered more work, even a book deal. People called her brave. But sometimes late at night, when she passed her bathroom mirror, she swore she saw someone else blink before she did. Someone waiting, someone watching.